The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN headquarters in St. Petersburg, Florida. 8:30 a.m. Friday morning, 1 hour to go until the opening bell, and we got markets starting off to the positive side. S&P's within a few points of record territory. S&P futures up about 8 points right now, trading at 33.34. NASDAQ futures up 31 points, trading at 92.79. Dow futures up 91 points, trading at 29,218. Oil continuing to slide a bit off about 22 cents at 55.37, and that 10-year yield sitting at 1.73%. Gold contract negative a bit as well. We'll start things off. We're going to start it off with the VIX this morning. Got a little bit of a elevated action in the VIX yesterday, above 14, but that market comes charging back towards the end of the day. Positive towards the end of the day, and the VIX back with a 12 handle this morning, 1274 as we start off Friday trading. We'll jump over to the charts. We'll check in on the indices to start things off. Let's start it off with the Dow 30, 29,212. To back things up for some context, there is the low yesterday made just after the opening bell in the futures. You're looking at a low of about 28,950, give or take. We come back down to that level just prior to noon Eastern time, and from there, you're up almost 300 Dow points. We got American Express earnings this morning. We have Intel earnings after the bell last night, both of those trading higher. We'll get into those stories in a moment. NASDAQ 100, you back things up to last night and yesterday as well. Here's your low in the NASDAQ 100, 91.53. We're now 120 points above that level in the NASDAQ 100, trading 92.73. S&P's backing it up for some context as well. Yesterday morning, 33.01, almost made it to 3,200 for a handle. Not quite. 33.01 the low. We get almost back down to that level at 11:30 a.m. as well. And from there, the markets charge higher for most of the day. We finish the S&Ps at 33.25, give or take a point. And from there, we're up about 7 points. You see the spike higher on the futures at 6 p.m. You see a spike higher again at about 3 a.m. We trade from 33.28. We rise to 33.36.87, right up there near record territory, backing off a bit. You get the March futures contract trading at 33.32. Crude oil trading a bit lower. Quite the run we had yesterday. Crude dipping into a 54 handle. From there, though, 1 p.m., crude charges higher from 54.85. We reach almost $56 at about 2 a.m. Eastern time. And from there, crude's fallen off a bit. Even in the last about 15 minutes, we saw crude trade from 55.51. We're down a bit to 55.22. And those are basically session lows all the way going back to about 2 p.m. yesterday. Gold contract with some volatility. You back it up to yesterday, inverse of the market. When the market was at lows, we had gold trading higher to about 15.67. This morning, you have the gold contract trading 15.58 and the euro-US dollar trading at 1.1035. As I mentioned it, still earnings season. We'll start it off with Intel. Intel, after the bell last night, soaring to dot-com era levels, even as warning signs flash for 2020 and beyond. Well, that's one analyst take. I've heard some good takes out there across the board. And to get into the numbers, we expect total revenue to be more front-end loaded in the first half than we've seen historically. That's Intel's CFO talking about. And to get down into some of the numbers, here we go. For fourth quarter, Intel reported earnings, excluding certain items, of $1.52 a share, topping $1.25 was the estimate, according to analysts surveyed. Revenue for 90 days, $20.21 billion, almost a full billion above what the analyst average, above the average estimate for the analysts. Intel is forecasting first quarter earnings of $1.30 a share and revenue of $19 billion, beating the estimates of $1.04 and $17.19 billion. That's almost $2 billion that they're guiding now that they're looking for the first quarter coming. It also projected better than expected results in the full year, with almost all of the outperformance coming in the first quarter. Davis said on Thursday's call that cloud customers are using Intel's products as they expand. That's the big one here. They need the chips for the cloud computing, but added that after the first quarter, the company expects more modest capacity expansion for the remainder of the year as cloud clients move to a digestion phase. While Intel stock's been in a solid run, AMD's been the best performer in the S&P 500 over the past year, climbing over 160%. That's 160 over that stretch and closing at a record 51.71 on Thursday. In 2015, the company was so distressed that the stock sank as low as $1.62. A lot's changed since 2015. You have the Bitcoin era, the crypto craze, those types of chips plowing in, and then, of course, coming into the cloud computing. And to pull up those two shares so far this morning, there's your Intel action. Closed yesterday at 63.32 initially, traded all the way up to 68.24, paired some of those gains as we're back down to 66.59, and AMD catching a bid as well, as you may expect, closed yesterday at 51.71, traded up to 52.88, back to 52.24. For a little context, backing things up for the year, there's your run on AMD. I mean, quite a run indeed. From $19, that's going back to January 24th. And even, let's just see if you back this up a little bit further. Yeah, as I thought, that is the low, as in we're at $19. But boy, oh boy, you just got to go back to April of 2018, excuse me. So a year and a half ago about, and you're at $9. You're at 51.88 now on AMD. And Intel, not quite as large of an acceleration, as in you back it up to April of 2018, you're at $50, you're at 63, but boy, oh boy, you back it up to kind of like July of 17, you've almost doubled the price since that run. Now it's $63, and we're looking at weekly bars right now, and that is quite a weekly bar we have on Intel, rising to new highs. In terms of what else, we have American Express out with their earnings this morning, pulling up AXP before we get into the numbers. They come out with their numbers right at 7 a.m., You can see there on the Thinkorswim platform, pretty much right in line in terms of earnings. The actual, 203. The estimate, 203. They closed at 131.37, spiked to 135.36, and right up near that level right now. And to dig into the numbers on AXP, beat expectations on strong card fee revenues. Fees all over the place, whether it's the airline industry, credit cards, earnings. As I mentioned, 203 a share. Looks like 201 might have been the forecast. Thinkorswim was showing 203 as the forecast. Revenue, again, talk about pegging it right in line. $11.365 billion. The estimate, 11.36. There's the beat, the fees, $1.08 billion versus an estimate of $1.05. These results demonstrate the success of our strategy to generate sustainable, profitable growth across the enterprise over the long term, their CEO said in a statement. He also noted American Express added 11.5 million new proprietary cards in 2019, which with nearly 70% of new card members opting for the company's fee-based products. This helped drive card fee revenue growth 17%. Adjusted annual profit, $8.30 per share, representing a 12% jump from the previous year, and they expect 2020 profits to range between $8.85 to $9.25. Analyst expected guidance ranging between $8.49 and $9.67. The company also sees revenue growing between 8 and 10%. Quite a number for American Express. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back talking some banks, talking that China coronavirus as well. Tesla, Jamie Dimon. We got Boeing up there. We'll be right back.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets in positive territory, kicking off Friday trading right near records. Dow futures up 86 points, S&P futures up about 7, NASDAQ futures up 25. Jumping over to other news stories out there in the market this morning, you got to talk about the China coronavirus because that Asia, the lunar holiday happening over this weekend beginning, 26 people now dying from the coronavirus as South Korea and Japan confirmed second cases. China's National Health Commission said as many as 26 people have died from the fast-spreading coronavirus, and the total number of confirmed cases in the country rose to 830. One of the most alarming things that I've heard out here is that people contracting this not showing fevers occasionally, and that looks to be something as they try and limit the ability for this to spread, whether it's at airports, etc., going to be pretty difficult, and that may be part of the reason that you see some of these shutdowns going on in terms of China really clamping down on some of the largest cities out there where this is taking place. So you have the deadly pneumonia-like virus, first identified December 31st. It has since spread beyond Wuhan, which it was first in. Wuhan, 11 million people. That got locked down yesterday, and I say locked down, it really did. You have multiple cases of the virus have been confirmed in Thailand, Vietnam, South Korea, and Japan. The U.S., Taiwan, Singapore, one reported case. This is a map, pretty startling here when you get into this, and you can see it's an interactive map they have up here on CNBC, and you have the county, the area, whatever it is, Hubei, that is where Wuhan is. Confirmed cases, recovered deaths, and you can see kind of how this has scattered already through China, and that may be, as officials are looking at that, pretty scary, pretty intimidating stuff. Hopefully they get a hold of that. And the Asian market's reacting pretty harshly as they shut down for the lunar holiday. Jumping back to our markets, Broadcom striking a $15 billion deal to sell it iPhone parts. You got to love to be a supplier to Apple, especially when you're talking about a supplier deal to the tune of $15 billion. So Broadcom's going to sell $15 billion of wireless components to Apple. It announced in an SEC filing on Thursday. Broadcom said in a December filing that Apple's business comprised 20% of Broadcom's net revenue in 2019 and a full 25% in 2018. The announcement did not specify which components Broadcom would provide to the iPhone maker. That deal, $15 billion. The parts will be be used in forthcoming Apple products launching in the next 3.5 years, according to the filing, which said that Broadcom and Apple had entered into 2 separate agreements. The announcement did not specify which components. According to teardown analysis of the iPhone, Broadcom supplied several chips used in the iPhone, including chips for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and an Avago-branded RF front-end chip that helps the phone connect to wireless networks. Analysts expect Apple to launch 5G-compatible iPhones over the next few years, which gives companies who make wireless components an opportunity to gain new business and sell parts. However, it's possible that the agreement only impacts 4G parts, one of the analysts talking about. And to pull up Broadcom, as you may expect, AVGO, quite a pop on that news, closed yesterday at $319.65, looking to open somewhere in the range of about $330. Backing this up for some context over the last year, a little bit of volatility, but towards the higher end of that range. Highs in the last year made in December at $331, so we're going to open basically right at that level. Other news out there, jumping around, Wells Fargo. They got slapped with some fines yesterday. The former Wells Fargo CEO John Stumpf barred from the industry to pay $17.5 million for that sales scandal. What I found myself wondering when I heard this story originally is that I wonder how much money he made as the CEO during his tenure when this was going on, and probably a small price to pay, I assume. Now, being barred from the industry, that's quite a black mark, but you know, this is my feeling, putting a little analysis, personal feelings into it. But for what they did in terms of the system, company-wide scandal that it was in terms of just creating accounts for people, it's the banking industry, fairly regulated. He should be barred from that, folks. It's super regulated. You're dealing with people's retirements, savings, cash. Doesn't get more personal than that. U.S. government announced that Wells Fargo CEO, former Wells Fargo CEO John Stumpf, barred from ever working at a bank and will pay $17.5 million. The OCC also said the former head of the Wells Fargo Community Bank is still fighting the allegations against her. I believe Stumpf has accepted that already. Wells Fargo says it will not make any remaining compensation payments that may be owed to these individuals named in that notice. And again, they've already gotten paid bucketfuls of cash. The U.S. government announced on Thursday the notice from the Office of Comptroller of the Currency said that the regulators plan to target other individuals, including former executives, for their role in the scandal. And you should. You have to disincentivize this type of behavior, folks. And the people that are in these executive roles are benefiting greatly. And the only way to disincentivize that is to actually punish them. In addition to the 17.5, Stumpf's settlement declares he shall not participate in any manner at any bank regulated by the OCC or participate or attempt to participate in a bank's corporate board votes. And then they also go into, said the former head of the Wells Fargo Community Bank, Carrie Tolstead, fighting the allegations against her. That fine, $25 million against her. So I guess they came in and said, you know what? She was the head of the community bank, whatever was going on there, a more hefty fine than the CEO. I would love to see how that got figured out. Wells Fargo, the nation's fourth largest bank, remained muddled in the restructuring and regulatory reforms since 2016 stemming from that scandal. And to jump over to Wells Fargo so far, this is a longer-term chart. Wells Fargo trading at 48.22. They were up to 54.75. You see the drop-off on their earnings coming in last week, putting it in a little bit shorter time frame. We'll put it in a hourly 20-day. There's your action. No real reaction overnight, as you would expect. These are former executives being fined, not really going to factor into the stock. But Wells Fargo, they got some tough roads ahead of them, as they should. And how about Jamie Dimon? Speaking of CEO pay, getting a raise to $31.5 million after a record 2019 profit at J.P. Morgan. We just saw the effect of Wells Fargo earnings on their stock. You see that drop off on their earnings. Gotta love the Thinkorswim platform. You can always tell when the earnings are coming out. They came out with an estimate of $1.12 they were supposed to make, the actual 60 cents. The stock trades from about 52.50 down to 48.30. On the flip side of that, J.P. Morgan, their earnings coming out, we're actually right where we were before that. Pretty interesting. You had them trade higher initially on that earnings number. J.P. Morgan, just huge fixed income trading for all the banks out there. This 145 tick, a bad tick out there, but J.P. Morgan, quite a banner year. And you back things up for a 3-year weekly. There's some context for you in terms of where the stock has been, where it is, and J.P. Morgan getting a raise. Going back to the specifics of that, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon gets a 1.6% raise to $31.5 million for his work. Dimon's compensation package includes $1.5 million in salary and $30 million in performance-based incentives, according to the filing released on Thursday. Other news, Boeing-built DirecTV satellite may explode in orbit after suffering unexpected malfunction. Not really sure that this factors into the core business of what Boeing is doing, but boy, oh boy, it doesn't seem like Boeing gets out of any day without a negative headline out there. DirecTV says satellite Spaceway 1 suffered a major anomaly that resulted in significant and irreversible thermal damage. Taking a look at Boeing as they deal with their own woes. Quite a last year for Boeing. That's a 3-year, excuse me. That's when the scandal started with the two planes unfortunately going down. Boeing, on a shorter time frame this morning, actually looking to open higher at 322. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back to finish up the program. I'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We got futures hanging right where they were when we started the program. We got NASDAQ futures up about 23. S&P futures positive by 6 right now at 33.32. Dow futures positive by 68. Jumping around a bit to other stories out there, we covered the coronavirus, Shanghai Disney shutting down to prevent the spread of that virus. Walt Disney's Shanghai Disney Resort closed until further notice to help China stop the spread of that virus. The closure is costing the theme park operator revenue, as you would expect, closing during the country's biggest holiday season, though. China is on a 7-day Lunar New Year holiday, a period when the Shanghai Disney Park would usually be packed with tourists. Seeing how if that's affecting Disney so far this morning. Down maybe a bit. Closed yesterday 142.20. Right now trading at about 141.49. Other news out there, checking out earnings for next week. The one that I have on my radar, we talked about it a bit. Boeing coming out with their earnings on Wednesday, the 29th. Their new CEO, with the first time he'll be on a conference call. Should be interesting to see what he has to say. I'm sure he'll field some tough questions out there, as he should. But quite a week for earnings in general. Checking it out. Monday, 92 companies. Tuesday, the 28th, 109. Wednesday, 141. Thursday, 112. And Friday, 17. Friday, usually a slow day for earnings. Big week of earnings, though. A number of companies out there. You see what else we have on Wednesday? Amazon coming out with their earnings as well. Checking in on Amazon this morning. AMZN, 1888. A couple of days ago was above that 1900 mark, and we have to check in on Tesla before we close out the program. 574.56 as Tesla hangs right near those highs of 594. And as we wrap up the program, folks, stay tuned. We have our man Larry Pesavento coming up right after this show with Trade What You See every trading day at 9 a.m. And this coming Wednesday, we said it, you're going to get Boeing earnings on Wednesday, you're going to get Amazon earnings on Wednesday, and we're going to get Larry Pesavento with a 90-minute webinar on Wednesday. Check it out on the front page of TFNN. Subscribe, 30-day money-back guarantee. That will be archived. And, folks, he puts out a great weekly report every weekend. Great time to sign up. Appreciate you joining me this morning. Stay tuned for Larry Pesavento coming up right now.